Greetings! Welcome to another exciting episode of Age of Empires Castle Siege Tutorials. I am Dice Gods, and in this particular video I'm going to be demonstrating Martel and Nikephoros, who is the hero who gives a bonus to trebuchets, increasing their attack rate. The army I use is pretty much my standard Treb attack army: 1 Kerosophon, 2 Cav, 6 heavy infantry, 4 spearmen, 4 archers, 6 ladder invaders, 2 rams, 2 Teutonic knights, 2 mamluks, 4 trebuchets, and 7 grenadiers. And I use that army every time I use Martel. I also use pretty much that same army with my Maslama Winrich, though I oftentimes may switch out the 2 Cav for a Knights Templar and maybe a couple of Raiders. So to open up here, I'm using advanced scouting, so I knew that that fire trap was there, and I set that off with my infantry, ran them off. I am drawing out the enemy units from the guardhouse and any patrol points that are set to attack. Going to deal with them using a combination of spearmen and grenadiers mainly. Of course, my infantry were involved, the ones that I used to set that trap off. Now I'm going to deploy my rams, run them along my axis of attack. This will serve to spring any engineer traps, which there don't appear to be any. I must have known that, but I'll do that anyway so as to keep any enemy troops occupied, enemy towers occupied. I don't want my trebuchets drawing any fire, so I'll just keep them running back and forth in front of my treb line. I will deal with enemy units as they sortie forth. Try not to let them go running into the castle and get killed until you've made enough of a dent in this wall that you're ready to deploy your army fully. So there goes Martel. We're going to activate his taunt ability and send him in to do what he does, which is basically take a beating. I have looks my rams are going ahead. They're going to move in, do a little more wall wrecking. I have my grenadiers and infantry working on the keep there. One of the main reasons I wanted to demonstrate this video is because these castles here are really, really tough. Very sectionalized with the towers at the intersections of the walls. Really tough to chew through. And yeah, maxed out with the upgrades, so very tough castle to take on. And when you're dealing with a castle like this, you basically just got to be patient. It's gonna take a while to chew through all of these walls and open up all of these sections. So yeah, as the relief forces come in, you just want to deal with them as best you can using some spearmen. You always want to hang on to at least a couple of spearmen to deal with those relief forces. If at all possible, what you want to try and do is keep Martel on the move. You don't want to just... I've seen a lot of players do this where they'll just have him attack a section of wall and have his taunt ability drawing fire from all of the towers in the vicinity. But if you keep him moving, a lot of times, you know, these towers will miss him, and so he'll stay alive a lot longer. The only tower that never misses is the musket tower. Musket towers hit everything they fire at. But cannon towers and emplacements especially, you can oftentimes avoid their fire if you keep on the move. So yeah, we're getting towards the end here. Looks like the vast majority of our army is It's pretty much been destroyed. However, we have Nike left and another trebuchet, and that's going to be just enough to get us our 2-star win. Okay, these cavalry were on their way over there to attack Nike, but by deploying the Mamluks and drawing them off, that allows him to do a little more work. And there's our 2-star win. So yeah, basically at this point we're just putting a little icing on the cake, I guess. I really didn't need any resources, and I wasn't going to get to 60%, it doesn't look like, which would get me that second key. Of course, I don't even know if I needed keys at this point, but it's always nice to get that second key if you can. Oh, sent the Mamluks over there to try and draw them away from Nike, but that didn't work. Didn't get there in time. And that's probably about all she wrote. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to do much more here. And there it is. Nice little crown score. And you know, again, this is I used advanced scouting and poison the well, my 2 favorite boosts. I notice a lot of players prefer to use the reserve force boost, which I rarely ever use unless I'm utilizing Joan as a hero, which is not very often for me either. One thing about poison the well is it reduces the strength of all the enemy units that are in the patrol points and the guard houses. It has no effect on troops that are relief troops that come from the watch signal. But the reason I prefer that over the reserve force is reserve force gives you a random assortment of units after the entirety of the rest of your army has been destroyed. That's, you know, I mean, maybe that'll be enough to get you, you know, the 2 stars you were short, you know, now and again, but you're far more likely to get those 2 stars if your army, your entire army, is stronger than the enemy's right from the get-go. So, generally speaking, in military terms, you almost always want to deploy your entire force, you know, working together. You don't want to have, you know, them deployed piecemeal, which is kind of like what happens when you use a reserve force. After the whole rest of your army's been destroyed, you get a couple of random units. Maybe you'll get lucky and there'll be some that'll be useful to you. A lot of times they might not be. Also, you might pretty much be out of time by the time your army's destroyed, and what good does having reserve forces at that point do you? By utilizing poison the well right from the beginning of the battle all the way through to the end, or at least until the guard houses and patrol points are taken care of, your army will be more powerful than your enemies, so you're far more likely to be able to, you know, you're basically making your entire army more effective utilizing poison the well. Anyway, that was today's tip of the day. And in addition, that was our latest tutorial video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, this is Dice Gods, signing out.